So my car is cycling through a host of problems. It manifested when I could not open the door by touch. Let me turn off that alarm. It's kind of annoying. Hang on a second. So that's better. It's nice and quiet in here now, and that's because everything inside is dead. I had installed this bypass switch to allow me to run the platform in the back for more than 20 minutes if I need to sit and use it. And sometimes I forget to turn it off. Oftentimes that doesn't produce a huge problem. It can run overnight. And you know, the car, sure, the battery will be a little low, maybe around 11.5 volts, 11.8. And the car still starts fine. But this time I had my inverter going, I was charging a battery, and my intention was to charge the battery while I drive, not while the car sits. The refrigerator is still going, but that's being powered by the Jackery back there, so that shouldn't be a big problem. But yeah, the battery's pretty dead. Normally I might say, oh, I got to hook up a battery charger, but now I'm going to take this chance to test out that capacitive jump starter. I forget what it's called. I'll link it below, and it might even be in the title of this video. The challenge with that capacitive jump starter is it needs to be charged by a battery that has something. Maybe it's got 10.5 volts or 11 volts, and it's able to amplify its voltage up to the full 13 volts and then start the car. I don't have that, but I do have the Jackery. The Jackery is still good, at least it should be. And so I'll use the Jackery to charge the capacitive starter, and then I will jump start the car. We'll see how that works. All right, let me get everything set up so that I can try jump starting my dead car. This ought to be fun. So I keep my charging unit down here in my emergency section. And let's see how easy it is to get out with the rear seat delete in, because it extends out further forward than the seat does. And because I have it buried, I have to pull everything out. So there's the first aid kit. There's my tie down straps and air compressor. Ooh, that might be the first thing that doesn't come out. But I can, believe it or not, lift that up a little bit. All right, so that's out. And then that is in here. So believe it or not, I don't have jumper cables and all the standard stuff that comes in this first aid kit, or excuse me, this emergency roadside kit. So now I'm going to open this up and show you what I have inside, because I don't use this very often. So what do we got here? Safety light sticks. This is my VCDS. These are some flashing strobe lights. I should have used these when I was stuck on the mountain in California earlier this year, but I forgot I had them. And here is the capacitive jump starter. I forget what it's marketed as. I will put a link in the video description below. All the videos that I've seen reviewing this, one guy tested his by letting his battery go dead intentionally, and I certainly didn't do this intentionally, but we're going to find out how well it'll start a completely dead car. My battery's voltage right now is at 6.8 volts. That's pretty dead. So I didn't bring a tripod with me, so I'm going to need two hands to set this up. Let me take a look here. I can probably do some of it one-handed. So there is a couple of inputs. So I have to open this. And there is, whoops, let me get that centered up. There is my 12 volt input. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. So that goes to a cigarette lighter. This is harder than the pros make it seem. I'm such a novice at this. I'm going to go plug this into the Jackery because I don't trust that it'll charge off my battery. So there's the cigarette lighter piece. I'm going to unplug the fridge for just a moment. Let's see if I can turn on the light here. There we go. We'll turn that on. What do we got back here? There's a little tripod I was looking for. So unplug the fridge for just a moment. Plug this in. You heard it chirp. It's charging right now. And while it's charging, I will go ahead and plug in the jumper cables. I don't recall how long it's supposed to take. Oh, here we go. It's 52% charged right now. Now, if I was to plug this into the battery, which I can, it would just take a whole lot longer. So this is only going to take a minute maybe. So now with this thing fully charged, all I have to do is hook it up to the car's battery, press a button, and wait for a countdown, and then start the car when the alarm sounds. So let's see how this works. Just a quick sidebar to tell you more about the Autowit SuperCap2 jump starter. This device works differently than other jump starters. It is not a lithium battery, nor does it contain any other battery for that matter. Instead, it has one or more supercapacitors. Using step-up conversion, it will charge to 13 volts from whatever voltage still remains in your battery. Charging takes anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes, depending on the state of your starter battery. Once charged, and after pressing a small button, a 10-second countdown starts, and then the device rapidly discharges to your battery while sounding an alarm. That is when you start your car. The SuperCap2 does not require special maintenance or routine charging. There is no battery to maintain, fade, or fail. Mine has been under my driver's seat for a year. It's small enough to fit nearly anywhere in your car, and it will allow you to jumpstart by yourself when no one else is around to help. With help being harder to find these days, isn't it better to be self-reliant? And the display has turned off, so hopefully I'll be able to figure out how to turn it on. I've got this strange battery cover on here, but it should still hook up. There we go. So all I have to do is push the button and listen to it start. All right, it's done. It did work. The start was just a little slow. It wasn't quite as fast as usual, and that's to be expected of a battery that only has 6.8 or 7 volts on it. I mean, you saw my little display down there. It started up, and then everything in here came back to life, and my ham radios came back on, and that was something else that was running. So basically, while all this was going on, all this equipment running in the heat as well, 2 ham radios going, the amplifiers and signal processing was still turned on because I don't ever intend to do this for a long period. The voltage inverter was on, which is unusual. I don't always leave that running. And I don't know if there was anything else running that would have done it. I was really surprised that this happened so quickly because the car was only running like this for a few hours. But you know, really, the refrigerator is also running. So the refrigerator is running in the heat. It's drawing from the Jackery, but my inverter is charging the Jackery. I still have the charger for my laptop plugged in, and so I had all of this current running for a long period of time. And that's not a recipe for success in maintaining a battery. I do have a battery build coming here in November. I expect to share with you. I am going to build a 100 amp hour LiFePO battery with a Bluetooth enabled BMS. If any of that meant something to you, look for that in November. Gosh, I hope this turns out all right, because I wasn't expecting to record, so I don't have any microphone set up or anything, and for all I know, you're hearing cicadas better than you're hearing me. This device, Autowit, however you want to say it, I will put a link in the description below. It's proved its mettle here today. It truly a dead battery, and I charged it up. Now I had a little bit of help with my Jackery, but that's just a good incentive to carry backup power. And once I get that LiFePO battery built, I will have backup power in the car. My battery voltage seems to be sitting at about 13.9 volts. Now I am not going to be fooled. I know this thing is still dead and needs to be charged, so now I'm going to go for a drive. Maybe 20 minutes. That ought to be enough to charge it up and let it sit with everything turned off properly this time. Anyway, thanks for joining me for my little debacle here, and it was only a little debacle. See you next time. Take care.